Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, class 4. Please take out your novel, The Prince and the Pauper. Yesterday, I started to explain you chapter number 10. So, Hugh's wicked plan. Yes, class? Do you remember? These are the Latin alphabets. Okay? Yesterday, I started to explain this chapter to you. A man in chain. Please take out page number 55. Today I shall complete the explanation of this chapter. Please listen attentively. I shall ask about speaker and listener in the end. The letter. Then one day a letter came to Hannon Hall. It contained terrible news. It said that you had died in... Next page, class. This is a present. You had died in France. So Richard never spoke again. He turned his face to the wall, and the next day he died. Now Hendon Hall belonged to Hugh, and a few weeks later he married the Lady Edith. Not long afterwards, Lady Edith found a letter among her husband's papers. It began, "Dear Sir, I am sorry to tell you." She realized that Hugh had written that terrible letter to Sir Richard. But what could she do? He was a rich, powerful man. He had all his father's money and land, and all hers too. If she said anything, he could order his servants to kill her. Andrew had another piece of news. They are planning the young king's coronation. He will be crowned at Westminster next week. Sir Hugh and the Lady Edith are going there. The king? Cried Edward. What king? Why, King Edward. They say he is mad, but they also say that he is a good, wise, kind boy. He has saved many lives and destroyed many cruel laws. Why, what is the matter with you, boy? Tears were pouring down Edward's face. Yes, class 4. Yesterday we read about Andrew, who had been telling Miles Handon the real story of Handon Hall. And you told Miles that when the letter of Miles' death arrived, Sir Richard died and Hugh married with Edith. But after marriage, Edith found a letter among her husband's paper that disclosed the matter. She realized that the letter was not from France. But Hugh wrote that letter. She could not take any step against Hugh Handon because he was a powerful, rich man. He had taken all the property of Sir Miles Handon and also Edith's. Poor Edith. Andrew also said that there would be the coronation ceremony of the new king at Westminster in the next week. Hugh Handon and Lady Edith were also invited to attend that ceremony. Edward was surprised. Yes, class, look at the next heading, please. In the stocks. So, said the judge, you pretended to be Miles Handon. I am Miles Handon, said Handon angrily. The judge shook his head. Don't waste my time. Well, you haven't stolen anything, so I will not hang you, but I must punish you. Officers, put this man in the stocks. He turned to Edward. You can watch. Perhaps you will learn something. Edward almost cried when he saw his friend in the stocks. Imagine two long, strong pieces of wood joined together with an iron bar. There were 4 small holes. Next page, class. Look at the picture. The first one shows the coronation ceremony, and the second one is of the stocks, right? Miles Handon is sitting there. Next page, class. Yes. In the wood, the prisoner sat on a seat with his hands and feet in the holes. Can you see the pictures? Right. He could not take them out because the two pieces of wood were locked together. Look at the picture again. A guard put Handon in the stocks and locked them with a big iron key. Handon could not move. A crowd of men and boys threw mud, fish heads, and bad eggs at him. "Stop that!" shouted Edward angrily. "This man is my servant. I am the—" "Oh, be quiet," said Handon in a tired voice. "I'm in enough trouble already." Just then, Hugh Handon arrived on, on his tall grey horse and saw Edward. "Give that boy a good whipping," he ordered. "No," cried Handon, "don't hurt him. Whip me instead." "What a good idea," said Sir Hugh with a cruel laugh. "Let the little beggar go and whip his friend." And so, while his wicked brother watched and laughed, a guard whipped Miles Handon until blood poured down his back. Then he was left in the stocks for the night. After everyone had gone, Edward fetched water and bathed his friend's back. "You did this for me, Sir Miles," he whispered, "and one day I will reward you." Next page, class. Look at this. Grey horse. Next, page number 58. Okay, let's explain this one first. So, student, the judge sent Miles to the stocks for punishment for few hours and also asked Edward Tudor to stay with his friend. It was terrible. Two long, strong pieces of wood joined together with an iron bar. There were four small holes in the wood. Look at the picture of 57 page number. Miles had to sit there with his hands and feet in the holes. The guard locked Handon in the stock with a big iron key. A crowd of people threw fish heads, bad eggs, and mud at Miles. Very sad. Next page, class. Back to London, page number 58. Next morning, the guards opened the stocks. They gave Handon his sword again, and his horse and donkey. Soon he and Edward were riding towards London. "Hugh has stolen everything from me," said Handon to himself. "He has taken my home, my land, and even my wife. Andrew says that the young king is kind and wise. I will go to London and ask him to help me." Then he thought about his little friend. "Will he come with me?" he thought. What will we do if he doesn't agree to come? If I leave him by himself, he will get into trouble again." But to his surprise, Edward agreed at once. He too had good reasons for going to London. After an easy journey, they arrived on London Bridge again. Yes, class, do you remember the London Bridge? So, next day the guard released Miles Handon and Edward Tudor. They were told to leave that place and not return back again. As they rode back to London, Miles Handon thought that he would go to London and would ask help to the new king. He thought of Andrew's comment about the kindness of the new king. He decided he would try to appeal to King Edward. "Oh, but students, all of you know very well that in the palace it was Tom Canty, not Edward Tudor." Miles also thought about his young friend. He was puzzled whether he would like to go with him to London or not. But to his surprise, Edward agreed. At last, they arrived at London Bridge. Next heading, please. Long live King Edward. There they found crowds of people. Everyone looked very happy and excited. They were eating and drinking and dancing. The shops on the bridge were selling cakes and wine. Come and join us, said an old woman. Tomorrow is Coronation Day. They will crown the new king in Westminster Abbey. Long live King Edward. Thank you, my friend, said Handel, but we can't stop. We must get to Westminster. We have important business there. The two friends tried to make their way through the crowd. At first, everyone was friendly and happy, but many people had been drinking beer and wine all day. And suddenly, a fight started. The fighting spread like a forest fire. Soon, Handel and Edward were separated, like two small islands in a sea of arms and legs. Yes, class. As soon as they reached at London Bridge, they saw a crowd of people. They were so excited for the new king. They were celebrating the coronation ceremony of the king. A woman asked Miles and Edward to join the celebration, but Miles refused. At first, the crowd were happy and excited, but suddenly a fight started between them. Due to all this panic, Edward and Miles separated again. Oh, dear students. So, it was the end of of chapter number 10. Please listen the explanation again. Take care. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.